When was the last time you sat with yourself? Truly sat, without reaching for something to fill the space. No phone, no music, no podcast drowning out the quiet, no scrolling to escape the stillness. Just you, and the silence, and whatever lives in it. If that thought makes you uncomfortable, you're not alone. Most people are terrified of silence. Not because it's empty, but because it isn't. Because in the silence, there's no distraction, no buffer, no escape from the voice inside that's been waiting to speak, the one you've been running from, the one that holds questions you don't want to answer, and truths you're not ready to face. That's why you keep the noise on. Not because you love the content, but because you fear the quiet. Here's something nobody tells you. There's a difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is isolation that aches. It's wanting connection and not having it. It's being surrounded by people but feeling invisible. It's the hunger for presence that no amount of scrolling can satisfy. But solitude is different. Solitude is chosen, intentional, sacred. It's the space where you stop performing for others and finally meet yourself. Where the noise fades and something deeper rises. Where you hear your own thoughts, unfiltered, unedited, uninterrupted. Loneliness empties you. Solitude fills you, if you let it. The problem is most men never learned the difference. They were taught that being alone means something's wrong, that busy is better, that silence is awkward, that a man should always be doing, producing, achieving, never just being. So they filled every crack with noise. Morning alarms, followed by podcasts, followed by meetings, followed by screens, followed by drinks, followed by sleep, and then repeat. No pause, no stillness, no moment where the mind isn't occupied by something external. And they called it productive. But it wasn't productivity. It was avoidance. Avoidance of the one person they've never really gotten to know. Themselves. Blaise Pascal wrote something centuries ago that still cuts deep. He said all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. Read that again. All of humanity's problems. Not some. All. He understood something most people still don't. That the constant chase for distraction, for stimulation, for anything to escape the present moment is the root of most suffering. Because when you can't sit with yourself, you make decisions from restlessness instead of clarity. You chase things you don't actually want just to feel movement. You stay in relationships that drain you because being alone feels like failure. You numb yourself with substances, screens, noise, anything to avoid the silence where truth lives. And you never realize that everything you're running toward is actually an escape from something you're running from. Yourself. I'm not saying connection doesn't matter. Humans need each other. Relationships are essential. Community is life. But there's a difference between needing people because you can't stand yourself and choosing people because you're whole without them. The first is dependence. The second is love. And you can't get to the second without learning to be alone first. Think about why silence scares you. It's not the absence of sound. It's the presence of everything you've been avoiding. The grief you haven't processed. The questions you haven't answered. The version of yourself you've been too busy to meet. The dreams you buried because they felt too big or too late. The failures you never forgave yourself for. All of it lives in the silence.
waiting. Not to punish you, but to be witnessed, to be felt, to finally be released. But you can't release what you won't face. And you can't face what you keep drowning in noise. Carl Jung said, "Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens." That awakening happens in solitude. Not in the scroll, not in the hustle, not in the noise. In the quiet, where there's nothing between you and you. That's where the real work happens. Where you stop performing for others and start touching the depths. Where you stop performing and start becoming. Solitude isn't punishment. It's the birthplace of self-knowledge. So what do? You start small. 5 minutes. No phone, no music, just you and the quiet. At first, it will feel unbearable. Your mind will race, your hands will reach for distraction, your whole system will resist because it's been trained to avoid this. But stay. Not to punish yourself, to meet yourself. And over time, something shifts. The noise inside quiets. The racing slows. The voice that's been waiting to speak finally speaks. And you realize the silence was never your enemy. It was the doorway you were too afraid to walk through. Here's what I want you to understand. The man you're trying to become isn't found in the noise. He's found in the stillness. In the moments you stop running, stop filling, stop escaping. He's been there the whole time, waiting for you to slow down enough to notice. You don't need more content, more input, more voices telling you who to be. You need space. Space to think, to feel, to remember who you were before the world told you who to become. That space exists in solitude, and it's been waiting for you. Stop fearing the silence. It's not empty. It's full of everything you've been too busy to hear. Your own wisdom, your own knowing, your own voice, the one that got buried under everyone else's opinions. That voice has something to say, but it won't shout over the noise. It only speaks when you finally get quiet enough to listen. Solitude isn't where you go to be lonely. It's where you go to come home. To yourself. To the man you've been avoiding. To the life that starts when the noise finally stops. Get quiet. He's been waiting.